William Courtney. He is a former U.S. diplomat and a top security analyst of this region. Welcome, Ambassador Courtney. Always good to see you.
Thank you.
So Russia says it has been very successful, wiping out hundreds of militants so far, and now talking about upping the number of strikes, possibly from ships in the Mediterranean. I want to quote a British foreign officer who has said that actually 85% of these airstrikes have taken places in areas where the Islamic State is not present. How successful has Russia been to this point?
Russia has exaggerated quite a lot its strikes against ISIS or ISIL. In fact, most of the strikes, as the British Foreign Office person said, have been against fighters who are fighting against Bashar al-Assad's regime in Damascus. This is a different fight than what the U.S.-led coalition is carrying out against ISIL.
Russia, in fact, says it is targeting IS and the al-Qaeda affiliate al-Nusra Front there as well. Now there's this ground offensive going on in Syria. What can you tell us about that? In Aleppo, I should say. What can you tell us about that?
Well, the ground offensive is just beginning. Russia is providing close air support to help the Syrian and Iranian forces conducting that. But it's not clear they're going to make much headway against the rebels. Some of those rebels are moderates who've been supported by the United States for a long time. Others are from other organizations. So it's not yet clear how that's going to work out.
What do you think about the reports that there are thousands of former Soviet Union people fighting there on the ground, and that they are, with Russia and going against Russia in these daily fights?
Well, there are reports that perhaps 2,500 people from the former Soviet Union, including Russia and Central Asia states, are fighting on ISIS side. An irony of this is most of the Muslims, and there are millions of Muslims in Russia, are Sunnis, but yet Russia is aligning itself with the Shiite powers, Syria and Iran, Hezbollah, in this fight. So a lot of those folks who are from Russia are angry, and they're more likely to go back and fight against Russia.
All right. Russia is inviting others to join in this Baghdad-based coalition. As you know, the coalition of obviously Russia, Syria, Iraq, and Iran. How is the U.S. going to work around this coalition and continue its fight against the IS?
Well, the U.S.-led 60-nation coalition is carrying out a major attack against IS now. And it's not really being hampered to any great extent by this Shia consortium that Russia is leading. But there have been concerns about aircraft running into each other in space, in airspace, and so there has been an agreement with Russia to reduce problems of air safety.
And how are you, what do you think about the way the Pentagon has addressed this situation, Ambassador? And it says it has reached an agreement on this.
Well, the
tentative agreement.
Pentagon has reached a very narrow technical air safety agreement. The Russians want to have a much broader agreement because they want the legitimacy of appearing to be part of a larger international fight against IS. That's what President Vladimir Putin promised the United Nations when he spoke there a couple of weeks ago. But in fact, they're not carrying out that kind of fight. So the Pentagon Secretary of Defense Carter is not willing to have this broader discussion or agreement with the Russians if they're not really carrying out a fight against ISIS.
Well, Ambassador Courtney, thank you for your time. I'm sure we'll be speaking with you again. We appreciate it.